we assume it's been a much nicer week for you following that excellent win over Leeds? I know one swallow doesn't make a summer, of course, but how much does that do for confidence for what lies ahead?
Yeah, well, hopefully it helps. It was a very good performance. We know that, and we've analysed it ourselves and the really good parts of it, and also the few bits that we want to improve on. And it's good for the confidence of the group. Come in here and we've done quite a long, difficult run of results. So that clearly is the first thing that can give you a bounce. But I think we have to get our heads keep ourselves very settled and understand that, as you mentioned, it's one result. We've had 2 wins, one in the cup, one in the league, but there's a lot of work to be done. But it was a nice template to move forward from.
I know it was a great all-round team performance, but just a few words for your right back who was playing at left back, Jonjoe Kenny. Did he epitomise the sort of character and desire that you're looking for throughout the squad? I think many will have seen the video of him celebrating the first goal. He looked like a fan on the Gladys Street, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and that's absolute gold because the fans will relate hugely to that. We all saw the images or the video of that. So, but I don't want to make him just a local lad with a big heart. He's a very good player. I saw that from the moment we've been here. I know that before. Some of my staff have worked with him previously. So the references I had before here, was a great lad and a very good player. And sometimes it's just working with the player, trying to give them confidence. And when you've got lads like that in the group, they help. They help positive feeling. They help determination and moments to dig in. Leeds was a moment to dig in moments, and he did that. And he himself will be very happy with that. And hopefully it's a springboard for him in the short term. Because we're fresh and new as a staff, everyone has that chance to show and impress, and what better to do it than the way Jonjoe did it last week. Just on
Southampton, they're on a good run of form, aren't they? So what are you expecting from them? I think it's 8 unbeaten at home as well. And Armando Broja as well. Did you know him from your time at Chelsea and know what sort of a prospect he was?
Well, I gave him his debut at Chelsea, so...
Oh, there you go. Should have done my homework.
No, it's fine. It's fine. He's a very nice, very good lad, very talented young boy. He came into us in at the start of the COVID times and trained with us and showed the attributes I think you're seeing now in the Premier League at Southampton. He's fast, strong. Has a real eye for a goal. A very, very good young player. So I'm very aware of his strengths, and within that, in a Southampton team playing very well, as you say. They've been together a long time under the same manager. Have a very firm idea through tough times that they've been through. They stick together and keep working in the same direction, and that's a sign of a strong club with belief in the manager and a manager with belief in his players. So at the moment, they're in very good form. It'll be a very tough match for us.
And just in terms of injuries and fitness, is Demarai Gray likely to be in the squad at the weekend? And Vitaly Mykolenko, is he back?
Yeah, Mykolenko's back. Demarai Gray won't quite make this weekend. We're hopeful for the following week. Doucoure trained with us today in his first kind of integration into a proper session. So hopefully over the next week we can see a strong progression in that to be available for the following week. Ben Godfrey's getting closer. Hopefully we're on schedule at least for that, which means maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Yeremina's a bit longer. He's just starting the process. And Fabian Delph, similar to Ben Godfrey, hopefully. We're hopeful for 2 or 3 weeks for those two.
Just finally from me, Frank, just away from football, boxing at the weekend. Khan, Brook, will you be watching?
I will be watching. I'm not a huge boxing expert. I have a lot of respect and admiration for them and for the sport. I will be watching because I know the characters. I'm not going to be sitting and making a judgment. I don't know well enough about that. But I wish them both well, and obviously I hope that it's a good spectacle for all your viewers.
I think we've seen a bit of boxing on your Instagram, haven't we? So would you fancy your chances against either of them?
No, very simple. I made my decision, my career path very early, and for different reasons. And boxing, unfortunately, was never a big strength of mine.
So you're not going to pick a winner for us?
No. Sorry, I don't know enough, and I wouldn't want to talk one down. I wish them a good and safe fight in the end, because of course it's a sport where people put themselves in a very physical, difficult position at times, and that's the thing where I've got a lot of respect for them for.
And just continuing the theme of picking out star performances from last weekend, Alex Iwobi, I think for many had perhaps one of his best games for the club to date. What are your thoughts on Alex, and is there anything that you have said to him since arriving that you feel contributed to last weekend?
No, it's Alex alone that performed like that. I just give him the platform and opportunity to play, pick him in the team. And the reason I picked him was because of how he trained. He trained really well in the 2 weeks I've been here. He's a quiet lad. He's a very talented player. I knew that, and his teammates know that. And sometimes then I just feel it's a time to give him confidence and belief. So those are the sort of small exchanges I've had in him. So he feels it from me. And then the rest is up to him. I was particularly pleased with his physical output and his defensive work for the team, which in a 4-4-2 as it was last week on the sides of midfield against Leeds is a real big shift. And he put it in and felt like he could run on for another 90 minutes. So there were really good parts to it. But I want to work with him more. Again, I'm not resting on Alex as I'm not resting on the performance as a whole or any individual. We need more. We need consistency. That's something that will define a so-so team or a very good team. And that's now really, really is a challenge because we're at the start of this and there's a lot of work to do individually and collectively. Thanks.
Thanks, James.
Thanks.
Alistair McGowan at the BBC, please.
Hi, Frank. I just wondered after the weekend whether you'd been in touch with the owners or the hierarchy and what their sort of reflections were on your first couple of weeks.
I don't like to give away personal conversations. All I'll say is that I have a very good relationship with the owner, with the chairman, very close. And I felt support in the 3 games I've been here after both wins and after the defeat, which as a manager is as important, if not more important. And of course, we're in the early stages, but I've had good communication with them, which hopefully is good for them as much as it is for me. And that's as far as I'll go with it.
And I just wondered whether you'd had any conversations with them yet about directors of football. Obviously, Everton haven't got one at the minute. I just wondered whether that had come up and also how important you think it is having one of those at a club.
I think it's been quite open. Before I actually turned up at the club, that the club is doing a strategic review of that as such across the board. And my feeling is, of course, I would like an input into that. I think it's my role to a degree. But my first role at this club is to get us winning football games. And the amount that consumes you in my job, I think it's been so important for me in these first 2 or 3 weeks to put my head completely on that and working with the squad. So I think we'll see going forward. I would have an opinion on it. I think working with a director of football, of course, many clubs do. The key for me is the communication and the fact that everything is aligned and you're working in the same direction. I think if you can get that mix great, then I think it'd be a really positive force for the club. So that's where we're in this process, and the club will make their decisions on that. And as I say, when asked for my input, I'll most certainly give it.
And just last of all, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but this week there was a report out saying that I think in 14 of Southampton's 20-odd games this season, a player had gone down between 60 and 70 minutes, allowing the other players to sort of go and have a chat with the manager, maybe get a few energy gels on board and that sort of thing. I just wondered whether you had any issue with that, or is that just sort of kind of marginal gains that you see within football and it's all fair game?
Yeah, I think it is fair game. I don't think I saw the report too, and I don't think you can. There's no absolute clarity. I know there's 14 out of 20 games and all these things, and maybe one game they were losing, they didn't need to. Those decisions in game are not that easy, so I'll reserve judgment. But I do think it's marginal gains. I think it's been going on for years. I remember playing under certain managers, and there were marginal gains going on all the time. And for me, that one doesn't cross the line. I won't go into those, by the way, but that one doesn't cross the line. And fair play for teams that are, and management and staff and clubs trying to tick the boxes but not go over that line. Sometimes that's a fine balance.